All the natural world, when it was in its making, in its creation, was representing who we are. We carry clans that are of the natural world. The sun is a clan. Some of the animals around us are clans. Some of the plants are clans. So we carry that on as family names, as family relations. So we're always connected. So you cannot take us away from this, and nor can we also just walk away.
Breath as I get down here. While many of our episodes consist of exploring the outdoors and climbing mountains, as I'm doing right now, not many of us know the cultural significance that each one holds. On this Spirit of Nevada episode, I'm going to be meeting two individuals who are dedicated to making Avi Kwa Ame a national monument. If it does end up being a national monument, it would be our fourth one. And this land is very sacred, and it holds a dear spot in the hearts of our Native Americans.
We took this road here. And just a little history. The reason why we wanted to work on the monument is that this area really doesn't have permanent protection. This crosshatch area is part of the area of critical environmental concern, but you notice that key sections of that are just BLM public lands. They have no restrictions whatsoever.
So right here is BLM?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. It's all BLM land, but this has no restrictions. And this was the area that was subject to the Crescent Peak Wind Project. This was, of all the years I've been working in public lands, this is probably the worst project I ever seen.
Oh wow!
So you can imagine all the way down here and all the way up past where you turn for the Walking Box
Yes.
Ranch. That was all going to be wind development. So that entire 22 miles of ridge lines would be covered with over 200 windmills, each about 500 to 600
That's
feet.
what they wanted to put on the land?
Yeah. And not only that, they would have had construct 96 miles of new road, 36 feet wide. Now notice, this piece is 20 feet wide.
Okay.
And notice roads, 95 miles of road, all through that exact area you just traveled with, 36 feet wide. It would have trashed the entire area.
That's what I was thinking, all the natural
The integrity of the Walking Box Ranch.
trees.
This has some of the richest ecology we have anywhere in the western U.S. This is part of the East Mojave Desert. And you notice here the California border is about 3 miles up the road. The Castle Mountains, Castle Peaks, and
they're
the
beautiful.
distance that way
Hurry,
are
if
actually
you turn around, those mountains right there, they look like castles.
They're in the Mojave National Preserve, the Castle Mountains National Monument. So,
and there's another national monument that
right
we're trying
here.
to preserve,
correct? Here's the California line.
Okay.
You can see in California, they protected this ecosystem. They got the Mojave National Preserve, Castle Mountains National Monument, the Mojave Trails. Nothing's been done on the Nevada side. Similar or even better habitat and such.
And
much more important from a cultural standpoint.
So for those that are watching right now and that are not familiar with all this that's been happening, it's called the Avi Kwa Ame proposal, correct?
Avi Kwa Ame National Monument.
And tell me a little about those people and why it's so important to us Nevadans to be a part of this and make sure that they do not change the land and preserve it and keep
Yeah.
our history.
And we can talk about the ecological values later, but the ecological values are incredibly important, but equally important, and maybe even more important, are the cultural resources. This is kind of like a crossroads of the American West. Everything that happened in the Western expansion happened on this landscape, all the way back from the Mojave Trail, which is where the native people for years traded all the way to the west coast, to the Chumash Indians. They would trade along this Mojave Road. And then, of course, over time became a place on which the Western expansion moved. The people that were moving west in wagon trains, the military built a section of forts along the Mojave Road. So that's in the southern part of the monument. Then you had the Garces expedition, which was the first Europeans, or the first non-native Indian people to ever visit Nevada.
Wow.
Were in along that same area, the Mojave Trail. So it's not only the mountain, it's an entire landscape. People forget that it's not just the mountain. This whole is part of their lifeways, part of their way of living today. They gather their sacred medicines on these lands. And
Tell me your role in this project.
I'm kind of been I would say leading the charge and ready to turn it over to others. But, you know, since I have such an affiliation with this landscape, from those days we were consulting, and as I said, they didn't want to put a boundary, and so, but we had to get it thing. But it was kind of an agreement, informal agreement, that issue wasn't gone, that at some appropriate time that we'd revisit that issue and try and protect the rest of this landscape. And so I've carried that in my heart for all these years.
It's all those around us, and it's the shoulders we stand on for those who, you know, make this effort, continue. And so, in this generation, and while my time is here, do what we can to make this move forward in giving Spirit Mountain of Avi Kwa Ame that protection it needs. They did that early on, and we need to continue that. And so the future will look better for those that come, that they won't have to struggle with this. But if we have partners and those out there listening and willing to support, that makes us move forward in that same direction.
Well, I'm grateful for you, and I'm thankful that Stephanie put the introduction between us both, because I think in my busy life, I needed that reminder. You know, we get to film in all these wonderful, beautiful places that I didn't even know existed until the show. But to be able to hear you and say, listen to the birds, listen to the mountains, draw energy from the earth when you feel like you can't go. And I needed that reminder, so I'm grateful for you. I'm thankful that you're a part of this movement and that we could be connected in a way that would hopefully, through God and through the power of all of our voices, be able to make this a national monument here in Nevada.
Absolutely. Sounds very good.
So thank you.
Wow.
All right, that's it. That's a lot.
Wow.
I have been to so many amazing places across Nevada, and this place is very special to me because I just feel that it brings so much history to Nevada, from the Native Americans believing that this is where all their tribes became one. And you know, in Vegas, everything is torn down. They're all about tearing down old things and building new things. And nature is one thing that's, when it's torn down, it can't be rebuilt. Or to a limit, it can only be secured back to what it used to be. Just like those Mojave Desert that I featured in one of our other videos. These little creatures, we took over their land, their habitat, their ecosystem. And it took years to try and build it up to where it used to be back in the 1800s. And so I'm asking all of you who are watching now, if you feel that our nature provides a very significant role in all of our ecosystems and you want to preserve this land, please visit spiritmountain.org, spiritmountain.org, and sign the petition that helps preserve and making this place a national monument. I'm Samantha Chihan, but you can call me Sam with Spirit of Nevada. Brought to you by the Richard Harris Law Firm.